These corrupt cops thought that they could bend the law and do anything they wished without fearing any accountability. However, karma was served, and you'd be surprised to see them once they realize they are done for. First Amendment Auditor Amanda Jane Berquist, who is known by her YouTube channel named Pink Camera Magic, was taking video outside of a courthouse in Crook County when Lieutenant Donald Milazzo came out and confronted her, claiming that taking video of a public property is prohibited and a crime.
Ma'am, you know this is a public building?
Exactly, that's why I'm recording it.
It's also a court facility,
Yep.
which there is a judicial law or judicial order that says that you cannot tape this building.
Can I see that order?
Yes, come on in. We're going to check your IDs too.
Oh, no, I'm not going in.
Oh yeah, no. We're going to run you too.
No, that's all
We're going to
right.
get your name. We're going to do a report and everything. So come on in. Right?
No.
No, yeah, you're going to come in now.
Am I being detained?
Yes.
For what?
Right now you are doing something suspicious.
That's not a reason to detain anybody.
Well, it is for Dana. Come on.
It's really not.
Let's go
So
inside,
I'm just going
man.
to stay here and continue recording.
Okay. You're going to come in and we're going to find out who you are and what you're doing here.
No, you're not.
Okay. All right, who's got cuffs? She does not want to go agreeably. Okay.
I'm being detained for just taking pictures of the building.
Yes, ma'am. You're doing something suspicious, and we need to know who you are and why you're doing it. Okay?
Are you familiar with the First Amendment?
Yes. I am.
Really?
Put
Let's
your
go
hands
in.
behind your back.
Come on.
Wow.
I tried to do this nicely.
Lieutenant Milazzo was accompanied by Sergeant Jennifer Larson, who made sure that her camera was taken away from her, and she was detained just for filming in public. Let's see what happened when she was taken inside.
I talked to a lawyer.
Okay, call your lawyer.
That includes my camera as far as consent.
Well, it's already on.
Are you familiar with the Fourth Amendment?
Oh, great. Why do we always get the crazy?
I don't know.
Do you have an
So
ID?
we can find out who you
I
are.
don't want searches, and I'm remaining silent. So that's it. I was taking pictures outside, and that's it.
You were taking pictures of a secure building.
Yep.
The
In public.
prosecutor just wanted me to check on it.
Absolutely. Okay.
Did you delete my footage?
Do you want to cooperate or not?
I'm remaining silent.
It is only making it worse. Do you want to give us
I'm
an
remaining
ID?
silent. I'm remaining silent. Don't consent to searches.
We're not going to search you. We're asking you for an ID. What is going on today?
I don't know.
Every crazy loon in the building is coming. All we're asking is an ID.
We're asking for an
So
ID.
We'll do a report. You can go on your way with your camera. Otherwise, I'm going to confiscate the camera, and we're going to take it downstairs
what
and
crime?
we'll print you. Because you're suspicious.
I'm remaining silent.
This is going to be your last chance. We're going to take you downstairs. Then you will be arrested. We will fingerprint you, and we will run you.
Is this what you want?
I'm remaining silent.
You'll go to bond court at 1:30, and then the judge will decide what he will do for you recording at a courthouse. So you may or may
Outside.
not go home tonight.
I'm remaining
They
silent.
take it not so lightly. It can either be an incident report, or you're going to go to bond court. I mean, that's going to be up to you. I mean, so you're
So I have
making
to
it for
identify
you.
myself, or I'm going to go to bond court?
Yes, I mean, Mike, the lieutenant is going to charge you.
Amanda knows her rights and remains silent no matter what the cops ask her. She keeps asking them about her crime, but they have nothing to tell her apart from the fact that she is not showing her ID, which she is not obligated to do so as well.
He's given you the chance to have it be an incident report versus.
I'll see what my lawyer
You-
says.
Do you want to call your lawyer?
Yep.
Okay, this is your choice. You can either give us an ID so that we can do a report on this and find out who you are, or we're going to take you in front of the presiding judge. He's going to hold you in contempt, which means that he can hold you for as long as he wants.
I'm remaining silent.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to call the judge then and let him do it.
Okay.
Both of the cops on scene tried their best to make her talk, but Amanda wouldn't move. They kept her waiting there for 10 minutes and kept on doing their regular tasks. After some time, Lieutenant Milazzo arrived back on the scene, and they decided to arrest her without any probable cause.
Please do a to from. Okay, I will. Okay, thank you.
We're going to probably take her in front of the judge.
Okay.
He's going to hold her in contempt for, I think right now he's doing 90 days.
Okay.
So, that's okay with you?
Remaining silent.
Okay, but you realize you're going to go to Cook County Jail for 90 days.
Remaining silent.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you have an option. All you have to do is show us an ID so that we can do a report, and we'll let you go on your way.
I have an option?
Yeah.
We told you that before.
Because right now you're just obstructing and you're in contempt.
Obstructing what?
You're obstructing us from from doing our job.
I'm remaining silent.
All right, cuff her. Let's get her purse.
Ken.
Get her stuff.
I don't consent to searches.
Well, we don't care anymore. Okay?
Give me your purse. I'm gonna get you.
To uphold the Constitution?
Hold this so she doesn't. I'm gonna get you a second pair.
Actually, no, that's with vacation.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go in and do it. Yeah. Hi, Sarge.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay, turn around. Oh, you got it for cuffs. Okay.
He said just put it all back in there. Is what he told me. It's gotta go down with it.
It'll just be easier to do the two. There you go. All right, you can have a seat back here.
After her arrest, she also discovered that the cops had deleted footage from her camera and forcibly taken away her property. Soon after the arrest, Amanda hired a lawyer and filed a case against the county and the cops involved in the incident. It's been 4 years, and because the case is still ongoing, we don't know the exact results. However, both the officers involved were questioned on the incident. Their deposition video shows how ignorant and corrupt these cops are.
And how did you come to know her?
We observed her outside. We stopped her and detained her
Why'd you detain her?
for suspicious activity.
What crime did you suspect her of committing?
We suspected her of violating the judicial order, videotaping in and around the building.
And did you say and around the building?
Yes,
Does the judicial order actually say the words and around, or is that your own words?
that was what we were told at the time.
Who told you that?
I don't recall.
Because in the building is where the order pertains to, right?
Correct.
Outside of the building is public, and anybody could take pictures there all day and all night, right?
Correct.
In fact, Ms. Berkowitz could go outside right now and do exactly what she was doing back on the day that you arrested her, and if you saw her doing it, what would you do today?
I'm going to object. It calls for speculation. You can answer it if you understood the question.
We probably would not have detained her.
Would not have detained her. So if you would have actually known the law, you would not have detained her, right?
Well, right now we would know what she was doing out there. But at the time, we didn't know if she was videotaping people coming out, videotaping witnesses, videotaping people that were involved in domestic violence, videotaping inside the door where the posts were. We didn't know that.
Any of those examples you just gave, if that's what you thought she was doing, would you arrest her then?
Then,
Now. Would you arrest her now?
well, now I know who she is and I know what she's doing.
Do you know of a policy that tells you if and when you're allowed to detain somebody taking pictures outside of the building?
I'm going to object. It was just asked and answered.
I'd like an answer, please, this time.
Repeat your question again.
Do you know if there is a policy that tells you when you are allowed to detain somebody for taking pictures outside of the building?
If it falls under suspicious activity, there is procedures to follow.
Okay, what constitutes suspicious activity under this policy?
Well, we're responsible for a lot of people here and the safety of this building.
Are you allowed to detain people for taking pictures outside of the building, yes or no?
If it falls under suspicious activity, then we can detain people and find out what they're doing and who they are.
And is that a policy, a Cook County Services Department policy?
Suspicious activity, yes.
Yeah, policy 172, right?
Correct.
Amanda's lawyer can be seen taking Officer Malazzo to the cleaners from the start, as he discovers that the lieutenant does not know the law. He keeps getting assistance and help from his lawyer, who seems to be feeding him words. The lawyer then asks Malazzo to highlight the policy which says that you can detain anyone with suspicion.
All right, now, the first thing that you highlighted is, and I'm going to read exactly what you highlighted, examples of suspicious activity may include but are not limited to. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
Okay. Where does it say there that you get to detain people? And I'm going to hand it back to you so you can show me. And this time highlight, please, where it says you get to detain people.
Okay. It does not say it in that paragraph.
Excellent. Where does it say it? Use the highlighter.
down under reporting and investigation.
Completely subjective. So if I'm standing outside taking a picture and you feel that my shirt is suspicious, you can detain me for that, right?
I'm going to object again. Calls for speculation.
What kind of shirt are you wearing?
Regular blue button-down shirt.
Okay, I don't find anything suspicious about that.
What if you do? Then you're allowed to detain me, right?
I'm going to object again. Calls for
Yeah.
speculation.
Do I get an answer?
You want to know if I object to your shirt?
No, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, I'm trying to use an example, but it doesn't have to be an example if you don't want it to be. If there's something, your testimony is that it's completely subjective. It's up to whichever officer is looking. If that officer subjectively believes that's suspicious, you get to detain that person. That's your testimony, right?
If we feel that it could interfere with the security of this building and the people in it, yes.
What question did you just answer?
What justified asking for her ID?
What lawful basis was there for you to ask for her ID?
I don't know.
What lawful basis was there for you to demand her ID?
I don't know.
What lawful basis was there for you to put her in handcuffs in response to her not giving you her ID?
I don't know.
Was there one?
I don't know.
Doesn't there have to be a lawful basis for you to put somebody in handcuffs?
If we're detaining them for investigation, then we're going to put them in handcuffs for officer security, yes.
For what lawful basis? What lawful basis was there for you to put her in handcuffs?
I don't know.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Would you agree with me that the only time you get to arrest somebody is if you have probable cause that they committed a crime?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. What crime did you have probable cause to believe that Ms. Berquist committed?
At the time, I believe she was violating the judicial order
At the time?
and was acting suspiciously, and for that reason, I detained her for further investigation.
The lawyer went on to ask some questions about the law, and Officer Milazzo only had one answer that he didn't know. The entire deposition lasted 90 minutes, and the officer humiliated himself with such answers.
Did you hear my question?
I did.
Did you arrest her? It's a yes or no.
No.
What's the difference between arrest and detain?
I don't know.
Okay. So even though you don't know the difference between detain and arrest, your testimony here today is that you detained her but did not arrest her?
Yes.
In order to detain somebody, would you agree with me that you need reasonable suspicion that the person's committing a crime?
Yes.
Okay, great. What crime did you have reasonable suspicion to believe Ms. Berquist was committing when you detained her?
We believe she was violating the judicial order for the building.
The judicial order which said you're not allowed to take pictures in a building
Yes.
because you thought it said in and around the building.
Yes.
But in reality, taking pictures outside the building is not included in that judicial order, is it?
Found out that later.
Is it? It's not?
No.
Good. Was your detainment of Ms. Berquist lawful or unlawful?
I'm going to object again. It calls for a legal conclusion.
I can't make a lawful conclusion.
You can't answer that question?
I cannot answer that question.
Okay. I just want to make very certain about this. I'll give you an opportunity to take a break and confer with your counsel before we proceed. I don't want to get another answer at trial. I want to make sure that your answer I get today is the same answer I hear at trial. Okay? So do you want to take a moment to confer with your attorney before you answer that?
No.
Okay. So your answer is you don't know.
Yes.
Is there a law that requires people to identify themselves when requested by law enforcement?
I don't know.
Did you delete her pictures?
No.
Who did?
Don't know.
You don't know who deleted her pictures?
No.
Were you lying to her when you told her that all she has to do is give you your ID and you'll let her be on her way? Was that a lie?
That was earlier in the situation, yes.
Was it really? Was it really? Was it really?
Yeah.
Are you sure that you didn't say that to her after contacting the presiding judge?
I don't recall.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When Larson was with Ms. Berquist by the counter and you went into your office for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, that's when you called the presiding judge, right?
Yes.
Then when you came back out, that's after you had already talked to the presiding judge, right? Or the judge's clerk, right?
Yes.
And that's when the judge's clerk or assistant told you to bring Ms. Berquist in front of Judge Peter Felice, right?
No, I don't think
Oh.
they did it right away. I think they called me back.
Got you.
Milazzo thought it was okay to detain her, but could not develop any law that gave him authority to do so. He was asked multiple questions but had nowhere to hide. The lawyer also found out that he had access to Amanda's identity card, which he got while searching her purse, but continued to lie about it. He could have taken her ID and let her go, but he pursued the case in front of the judge without any legal procedure. Apart from Milazzo, Sergeant Jennifer Larson was also questioned, and her deposition video raises many questions about how cops are actually trained.
Is it against the law to take pictures of a courthouse from outside?
No, not that I know.
Okay. Is it lawful to arrest somebody for taking pictures outside of a courthouse, of the courthouse?
No, not that I know.
Okay. Is there something
Keep your voice up, please.
Okay, sorry.
So I gotta get every word because it's on video.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this case at all?
Which case?
The case that brings us here today, that you're testifying in.
Yes.
When you say when she shouldn't have been, what does that mean? Was she doing something wrong?
Just something unusual, what us as officers would consider unusual.
Unusual, okay. Depending on where you are in the country, Mormons are unusual, right? Depending on where you are. It might be unusual to see a Mormon. Do you get to detain Mormons in those places?
I don't know. People detain Mormons.
You don't have to speak.
I don't know if they detain Mormons.
Would it be lawful? Just because it's unusual?
No, I don't.
Okay. Is there something unlawful about recording outside of a building?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Let me ask you this. Was Miss doing anything illegal when she was detained?
No, I would say it was not illegal, unusual.
It was evident that Sergeant Larson had no better understanding of the law than Officer Milazzo. Instead, she was even worse. She was also being helped by her lawyers and seemed to have no answers to the questions asked of her.
In order to detain somebody, what do you have to have legally? Do you know?
I do not know the law legally.
Did you have any reasonable suspicion that she was committing a crime?
We had reasonable suspicion to ask her what she was doing and why she was doing it, just to get who she was and why.
You and I agree on that you had the right to ask her whatever you wanted to ask her. Did you have the right to put her in handcuffs?
For the security of the officers, yes.
Okay. What made her a threat?
Her refusing to give any information that was requested of her.
Was she legally obligated to give that information?
When an officer has asked her for security purposes to give her identity up, yes, we do have the right to ask for an identity of somebody for our safety.
Despite being on the police force for over 20 years, both officers couldn't answer anything and had no clue about the laws. Amanda's lawyer kept on making things worse for Larson, who seemed to be going nowhere with this deposition.
Have you ever heard of something called a Terry search or a Terry frisk?
I have.
Okay, what is that?
I'm not going to say exactly. I don't know the law.
Okay. Police officer goes over to somebody on the street. Let's call the person Mr. Plaintiff.
Okay.
Police officer goes to Mr. Plaintiff and says, hey, let me see your ID. And Mr. Plaintiff says, no. Is the officer now allowed to put Mr. Plaintiff in handcuffs and detain him?
I object. It's a hypothetical. It calls for speculation.
Yeah.
You can answer.
Okay. I do believe, yes, for officer safety, they do have the right.
Doesn't there have to be reasonable suspicion that the person committed a criminal offense or violated a law?
I don't know the law exactly.
We kept getting the same answer from Larson, and she had no clue about the law. Regarding the case, Amanda Jane decided to settle outside of court for $15,000. Both of these cops brought shame to their department, and in short, claimed that they just arrested her because they felt like it. They failed to produce any legal reasonings for the arrest, and had to admit they were wrong.